We are live. We are back in Montreal and we're looking at the street. I just came across the street. Let's look into it. One of your CEO and several early employees are raising money to launch Foreigners Films, a film and new production studio that aims to say yes to projects for American exceptionalism, name America's enemies, back artists unconditionally, take risk on novel IP. So media is getting more and more important as code becomes democratized. Media is now the important leverage that everybody's going after. I know one of my buddies who is really into health. All he does now is does his health thing, which is like cooking, sleeping, and cooking, sleeping, eating, and working out. And then after that, all he's doing is creating content. All he's doing is creating content, like constantly coming up with new ideas to create the content. So let's look into this. Media is just becoming more and more important now. But in a post late last year in on his Substack, Shankar is the CTO of Palantir, outlined his view for a return to blockbusters of the 80s and 90s like Red Dawn, Top Gun, Rocky 4, and The Hunt for Red October. He said the entertainment needed to be unafraid of offending Chinese audiences and use American. Wow. Okay. Needed to be unafraid of offending Chinese audiences and use American cultural power to spread skeptical views of the Chinese government. Breaking out of a cultural malaise means uncomfort, will require the studios to wake up and choose America. Invoking the Renaissance in American film in the 70s when directors including Steven Spielberg brought back heroes, villains, and romance and rekindled the flame of the American cinematic universe. While founders Tech largely avoids political language, the company's proposed projects celebrate American military action, push for confrontation with China, and elevate heroes of the right from Rand to Elon Musk. Atlas Rugged. First with three-part treatment of Ayn Rand's classic celebration of innovation entrepreneurship. The slate includes 102 minutes of feature film about the evacuation of the World Trade Center on 9/11. Courage is contagious. The company also hopes to create a three-part adaptation of Atlas Shrugged and a film about killing Qasim Soleimani. Founders from Productions, The Greatest Game. Multi-season global spy thriller that lays bare China's plans to replace the United States as the dominant global power by showing that their operations and sometimes devastating impact from Kenya to the desert in northern Chile and from Arctic to the front lines of war in Ukraine. Not to be confused with the 2000s storm comedy Pineapple Express, the deck pitches Operation Pineapple Express, a movie about the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan. Then there's The Greatest Game, a multi-season global spy thriller that lays bare China's plan to replace the United States as the dominant global power by showing their operation and sometimes devastating impact from China to the Atacama Desert in northern Chile. The company brands itself as explicitly pro-American, but many of the projects also celebrate Israel. Israel. Founders' proposed film slate also includes Roaring Lion, a movie about the recent attack against Iran, which depicts Israel as striving for nuclear non-proliferation and exercising its right of self-defense against a crazed regime intent on destroying it. When the Towers Fall, a film about Israel's 2024 booby trap pager operation against Hezbollah. While much of the content has a military bent, the company also said it hoped to produce unscripted documentaries about influential figures like Musk, Oculus founder Palmer Luckey, and Admiral Simon Rickover, who led the development of nuclear-powered submarines. The most interesting thing would be when these movies come out from Founders Fund, they will feature a lot of they will just simply feature a lot of tweets. And I can imagine for the Palmer Lucky documentary come out where they will just like they might be just talking about Jason Calacanis, JCal. That would be really funny. That would be really funny. Okay, let's look at some comments and then we'll look into this article. They need Team Morse interviewing the greats at Relentless. This is cool. Many people try to make Atlas Shrugged movies, and every time they fail, three-part movie sounds like a recipe for a box office bomb. This is the only way we will get the Atlas Shrugged movie that the world deserves. Hmm. What is Atlas Shrugged? Trilogy of films based on Ayn Rand's 57 novel Atlas Shrugged, philosophical work promoting individualism, capitalism, and objectivism. Directed by Paul Johansson, follows Dagny Taggart, a railroad executive, as she struggles to keep her company afloat in a dystopian, economically collapsing United States. Key characters like Hank and John fear as society begins to unravel. The film grossed about 4.6 million on a 20 million budget and received poor reviews with a 12% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Wooden acting. Issue of disappearing industrialist and revolutionary motor. The film emphasizes Iran's themes of government overreach and individual achievement. Who is John? Concludes the story revealing John's plan to dismantle the collective society by withdrawing productive minds. It has a limited release. It had a limited release, grossing under 1 million, was critically slammed, scoring 0% for its preachy tone and low production values. Different actors played main roles on each one limited budget, difficulty translating Rand's dense ideological novel to the screen. Clunky and overly didactic. Interesting. Okay. So the book is interesting, but the movie is not. So that makes sense. Exclusive. Singapore, intelligent, transparent, global. Riyadh, Beijing, Singapore. DC, BXO, Lagos. Right? Monumental American Stories, Founders Films Productions. Whoa, not a good name, Founder Films. FFP, FFP. As a conservative political backlash. Oh, so news are going for the same thing. Infinite scroll for news. Back-to-back stories. Across US media, some are reaching for the ultimate prize, Hollywood. Shifting the liberal tilt of the studios and creative culture that shapes America's image of itself has long been a goal for the right. The late media entrepreneur Andrew Breitbart popularized the notion that politics is downstream from culture. Politics is downstream from culture, and acolytes from Steve Bannon to Ben Shapiro have sought to inject the politics into the movie business with limited success. But conservatives have celebrated a few mainstream hits, like the patriotic Top Gun Maverick and Taylor Sheridan's nostalgic Yellowstone. Longstanding Christian culture industry has backed projects like Freedom, dramatization of child trafficking that grossed more than 240 million from Provo's Angel Studios. The Forge earned 30 million on a $6 million budget last year. Close to the software from Palantir are pitching a new project to shake up streaming TV and film with a portfolio ranging from feature films about daring Israeli and American military operations to a three-part treatment of an Ayn Rand tome. Investors in recent month, Palantir Chief Technology Officer Shyam Shankar, early Palantir employee Ryan Podolsky, and investor Christian Garrett. Christian Garrett seems like the, the partner of Travis Kalanick from Uber, or maybe his name was Garrett. I don't know. Are raising money for Founders Films, a new Founders Films. Hmm. Name is not good. You cannot have two S back to back. Hmm. A new production company based in Dallas that aims to push for films with a nationalistic bent and unsubtle political overtones. The company said its projects would adhere to a set of rules. Say yes to projects about American exceptionalism, name America's enemies, back artists unconditionally, take risk on novel IP. Wow, wow. They're bringing the same idea that they do with movies, sorry, that they do with code to media. The American brand is broken. Hollywood is AWOL movies. become more ideological, more cautious, less entertaining. Large segments of American and international viewers are underserved. Production costs have soared and sales are flagging. The deck, which is labeled confidential, says founders aims to be a production studio that would also co-finance projects, distribute films, and engage in brand partnerships. Podolsky did not respond for a request. Representative Palantir did not respond. Project name echoes that of Peter Thiel's Honest Fund, and both Palantir and Garrett have close ties to the investor, a key figure on the new right. But in a post late last year on a Substack, Shankar outlined, we read this one, Operation Pineapple Express. Greatest game. While much of the content has a military bent, the company also said it hoped to produce unscripted documentaries. Founders Films, if it succeeds in its fundraising efforts, would they would obviously be able to fundraise, but immediately be a major player among conservative media companies like the Daily Wire, which has also gotten into the scripted and theoretical movie and TV business and have sought to tap into right-leaning audiences while also challenging the cultural dominance of Hollywood. It's great that new players are coming to the space, and I'm almost positive that we will work with them. Former manager for Hollywood talent, including Greta Gerwig, and whose production company produces for the Daily Wire. His output includes TV shows and films like Am I Racist, a mockumentary that played in 1,500 theaters and grossed 12 million Max's view. The long leftward shift from Hollywood's early days is hard to dispute, though they also risk showing a long line of ideologically motivated cultural projects whose didactic output flops in the theaters. It isn't an entertainment. I'm out. Hmm. But changes in viewership habits and advances in technology have given this generation of right-leaning entertainers an opportunity to break through. Streaming has allowed niche filmmakers to find much easier distribution online and connect with an audience, with audiences on YouTube or connected TVs. The sharp drop. I think this is really cool. You can start testing your ideas on Twitter and YouTube, and that is a really good proof to show to the media companies that hey, this idea is something that people really want. They already have shown interest. Now let's make it big. And once people deeply resonate with one idea, they build an appetite. They build a unlimited appetite for consuming more content. The sharp drop in attendance at movie theaters has made theatrical releases a shakier business and opened up possibilities for niche filmmakers to distribute the films, particularly if they can offer audiences the type of action adventure that traditionally has filled theaters. Make movies and deal with fewer people for much cheaper. Independent filmmakers, including those with political agendas, can put together films without the kind of traditional financing that proved challenging for filmmakers wanting to make films without message, sure to turn off half the country. AI production filmmaking will reduce cost for those who can wield it. I doubt that either right or left oriented production ideology is good business model. Sankar, the 13th employee at Palantir, has become an increasingly visible figure on the tech and defense right. Top research job in the administration, joining the Army Reserve's Execution Innovation Corps, newly created unit that aims to solicit advice from tech executives on modernizing the military. Yeah, no one else who's better to do this. Memories of going to films and being in awe of what I was seeing, and that's what drove me in wanting to be a filmmaker. And I feel like I'm seeing awe just disappearing, especially as these images can be made in an instant. This was interesting. What are, who are some people who personalities and institutions who bet heavy on media, on creating media this year, let's say. So a couple of people who come to my mind is A16Z, Gary Tan, Founders Fund now. Who else? These are the big ones. A16Z is definitely a big one. Gary Tan, he is from YC, and he actually was always creating content, and now he's creating more content as a engine to be open to people, to be someone who is kind of approachable to the people. People don't feel like, oh, he's this personality that is like unreachable. No, no, no. He wants to still share his ideas out there. He still wants to feel like people can connect with him, specifically with him, and that increases the YC brand. So that is interesting. Gary Vee always media bets. Athletes are launching their own media properties this year. Okay. Free Press is investing in news media. Gary Vee focus on content creation, influencer marketing. Major investments in media industry. YouTube CEO Neil Mohan, big bets 2025. Big investments in media creation 2025. This is kind of cool. Like we asked a very general question, and now it is breaking that down, going to very specific things like what are some of the big bets of YouTube CEO? Because that's where people are posting their content. Mr. Beast investing heavily in reality shows and videos. Okay. Mr. Beast is going into reality shows now. That's true. That's that with the next level. Jake Paul, definitely. Jake Paul is more from going from media to code and media. Like he has his anti-fund, anti-VC fund or anti-fund, and he is now going from media where he excelled. He built a brand, and now he is leveraging that brand, that distribution to allow this and to allow this VC fund to be able to invest in the best companies. All right. Mr. Beast expanded production empire with reality TV branded products and high budget videos. Renewed his Amazon Prime series Beast Games for 2 seasons. Invested in scaling Feastables Candy and Mr. Beast burger chain. Content draws billions of views with heavy spending on elaborate sets and prizes. Full scale Hollywood studio for scripted content. Jake Paul ventured into premium streaming and live events. Right, right, right. Co-starred in HBO reality series Paul American. Netflix live streamed his Mike Tyson fight, reaching millions. Invested in boxing promotions as media spectacles. Red and Link launched multi-platform streaming and creator support fund. Okay. Alex Cooper expanded podcast network and branched into TV film. 125 million Sirius XM deal. 7 shows. Launched Unwell Hydration brand and Hulu reality show Overboard for Love. Gary Vee. Social shopping AI IP. Predicted massive opportunities on premium products and digital collectibles. Continued building media properties like podcasts and videos. Scale independent news media. Free press. Okay. Institutions. Netflix. $18 billion content budget. Original series, films, and live events emphasize no spending, scaling to dominate streaming, includes renewals like Beast Games and live sports experiments. Interesting. So they are also doing Beast Games? Beast Media stocks. We are not anywhere near a ceiling. Wow. YouTube invested in AI features like Dream Screen with VO2 for video generation, auto dubbing, and auto dubbing is actually cool. Podcast tool supported creator videos, enhanced TV viewing with interactive features, over $75 billion in parent company capex, partly for AI media infrastructure. Disney gaming and experiential ecosystems. Fortnite creative worlds featuring Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars invested in theme parks and live experiences as part of broader 60 billion capex for content tech. Meta, 64 to 42 billion capex. Support influencer marketing, generated media emphasized shoppable ads and virtual influencers. JioStar, India's largest media company, invested in original programming, sports rights, streaming to build a dominant platform. Style.ai, Warner Bros. Marketing bets for 25. YouTube has a banner year. YouTube has a banner year. Cancel culture largely fades. Influencer marketing infiltrates B2B video subscription. B2B, right? Video subscription fatigue hits new highs. New sports leagues continue to spring up. More athletes launch media properties. Mainstream media continues its slow bleed. Upstart News org, the free press crash. New newsletter growth slows in consumer, picks up in B2B. Everyone realizes we have entered the era of the interest graph. Interest graph, interest graph. That is interesting, right? Because more and more your subscribers, your followers do not matter. If you are interested in a specific topic, that is going to pick up more. That is going to be picked up by the algorithm for people rather than the creator. The creator, the video and the content really picked up. LinkedIn organic reach arbitrage continues for people and brands, content ideas, and execution matter so much more than existing audience. More big time creators cross into mainstream channels. Netflix, Amazon. Founder-led brand continues to crush for committed, authentic voices. Boosting organic content continues to outperform dedicated ad creative. Makes sense. Boosted organic content continues to outperform dedicated ad creative. Ad creative now doesn't make any sense. If you are a new company, it doesn't make any sense. Boosted organic content is going to be always better because at least you have something that you can keep working on. It is a way to keep improving the product, keep creating content that is constantly helping you learn about the product, learn about the company, learn about where to focus on. CMOs continue to struggle with finding mass market cultural moments to align with. Wow. Okay. All right. That's stream. We're keeping this short and we'll be back.